Excuse me while I eat this big bowl of vegetables. Eat your vegetables, everybody. So, first off, spoiler alert. Today we are going to be talking about and figuring out the story to one of the most recent and most anticipated horror games, Outlast 2! Okay, so again, going back to spoiler alert, for those who have played it already and who have beaten it, know that the story is fucking confusing. Like, it just leaves you with all sorts of questions. And, you know, as you're playing the game through your first playthrough, you're thinking, it's a little confusing. I'm still confused what the hell's going on. But I'll wait till I beat it because the ending will explain everything. I beat this game the other night myself. It took me 3 streams, 13 hours. Great. First Outlast took me 11 hours, so not too bad. We stayed about the same time. And when I was playing it, I definitely thought, I was like, what the fuck's going on? What the hell is this story? I'm so confused. A lot of it was like biblical talk or just like the way olden days religious kind of people talk. Like, it's very confusing. You don't know what the hell. Why is my everything so yellow? I have a white light behind me. This should not be yellow. Anyway, as I was playing this game, I was very confused. You know, the talk is very confusing, the way they speak, and I'm like, what the fuck? Now, granted, I'm gonna enter this here now. It helps to read all of the fucking notes you pick up throughout the game, but in the middle of being chased and all the fucking jump scares and trying to figure out what the hell you're supposed to be doing and going, nobody got time for notes. Most people don't read the notes unless you're like a person that just has to read the notes or whatever in every game. So that kind of only explains the story just a little bit. As I was playing this, I'm thinking, oh, the ending will tell me everything. And alright, so we're just gonna let this out right here, right now. Here are my personal questions about the game. I'm sure you have the very same or, you know, even more of your own. First off, I'm confused of the timeline. Obviously, Lynn, this guy's wife, is pregnant. Now, when you're rowing down the raft, he says we haven't in months. Okay. But like, if you did sex, if you did it 9 months ago, like, and you're talking about we didn't do it in months, like 3-4 months, whatever. Like, if you did it prior, then yeah, she could potentially be pregnant. But it seems that obviously she's not. Obviously it's. So what I'm confused with is, I'm going to tread lightly when I say this word because I'm just using the word to describe the game and question it. A lot of people could be triggered over this word, but it's a game that I'm asking about. But did they rape her very shortly after the helicopter crash landed? And then because later on down, you know, when he meets up with her, she says, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it now, whatever. So does that mean either she has been pregnant this whole time and hasn't told him, or did she get raped and doesn't want to talk about it? Either or, there's not really an answer there. It's very confusing. Second part to that is, how the fuck did she all of a sudden, like, have her baby so fast? Like, the beginning of the game, you can't tell she's pregnant at all whatsoever. And then next thing you know, she's having her baby. I mean, I can't imagine that much time has gone by through this game. And I've read, and we're gonna go very shortly into reading something, but things suggest that, you know, it's not something that takes over the course of too long of time or that many months. Like, it can be argued like he didn't eat, or, you know, he barely friggin' slept. Like, that it definitely couldn't have been taken over the course of many months. Like, that it had to have been like a one night or a very few night thing. It's whatever. So then moving forward to the whole Jessica thing and the whole school, did she kill herself? Or did the preacher dude kill her? The whatever guy. Because, like, in the one scene, you know, when her and Blake are in the school alone, and the teacher comes out and says, "Oh, what are you both doing here? You're gonna be in trouble. Blake, you go home. Jessica, you stay here." Then obviously you hear screaming and stuff. You think, you know, obviously, you know what's happening, or what you can imagine happening. But she gets out and runs, says, "Blake, help me," whatever. And then she, like, closes the door, and, like, she's laying there on the stairs. But he says, and somebody in my stream pointed this out to me, he says, like, it's not what it looks like, or it's, what does he say exactly? It's not how it looks, or something like that.
I don't know what you think you saw.
So that's confusing, because does that, like, actually mean something? Now, if you also take note, her neck looks broken. And earlier in the game, when you're running through the school halls and you hear the phone ringing, you finally go answer the phone after, you know, a bunch of fucking weird jump scares and having a hard time finding the phone. I had a really fucking hard time finding the damn phone! But you hear somebody talking, I'm not quite sure who it is, but somebody's talking through the phone, and then, like, near the end they say, like, something about, you know, feeling her neck break.
Remember the taste of her kiss when you felt her neck break, you diseased cocksucker.
Some people would think, oh, your neck can break when you're, like, hanging from it, but that's not what I got from any of that at all. But then in so many other scenes, she had hung herself, or somebody had hung her. So it's very confusing. Like, did she kill herself? Did somebody else kill her in that way? Or did the priest kill her? What the fuck happened? And it doesn't answer that, because again, at the end of the game, when you walk up to her, her face is all blue, and her, you know, she has that mark around her neck. And of course, many, many, many more questions go along with that. So we're gonna figure this out together. I found a link. Well, I saw somebody post a link. I'm sorry, I tried not to wear these for this because of reflection. But somebody had posted a link in another stream that I watched. Now we're gonna go through this together. And there's many links. There's many links, believe me. This is just the first one that I came across. It's just easy to use because whatever. All right, so let's speed read through this. Outlast 2 has an interesting story and ending. The cutscenes bring up more questions than answers, and it's up to the player to fill in the blanks and connect the dots. You can't just do that though, because not everybody is great at that. I mean, if you laid down a little bit more of a line and guidance and more answers, then maybe. But not just with how open-ended it is. It's so confusing. It's one of those stories where you have to read between the lines, where the little details matter far more than the bigger picture. Again, it's too confusing to figure that out yourself. Like, you have to have a little bit more guidance on what the fuck is going on. Actually, I want to interject here real quick, because another question that just popped into my mind about the heretics. They obviously, you know, they wanted her to have this said baby, and the crazy Catholic fucking, and the over extreme crazy Catholic people didn't want her to have it because they thought he was Antichrist. The baby was the Antichrist. Which, why would they think that? That's another question. Why? But it was also, you know, later, kind of near the end of the game, they were saying, "Mother burn, mother burn." Like, so that indicates that they wanted to kill her. They wanted her to have the baby, they wanted to kill her? Again, confusing. Like, they acted as if they wanted to kill her. They saved her in the beginning of the game, and then, like, near the ending, they kind of seemed like they wanted to kill her. So, again, very confusing. In a very unique way, the game does much of its storytelling through collectibles, 55 documents, and 50 video recordings. Again, and if you're into that kind of thing, you want to take the time to read those documents and do all of those video recordings, I'm sure that helps, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, unless this is trying to force people to go back and do so. Shut up, I'm hungry. After 10 playthroughs and reviewing all collectibles, here's this person's understanding of Outlast 2's events and synopsis of the story. Theories and explanations are further down after the synopsis. Because words. So I've already skimmed through the synopsis. We really don't need to go through that because it's basically just explaining the major events step by step through the game. Blah 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 blah. Like, really, it's literally everything that's happening in the game. So, story explained. The bright light that crashes your helicopter and shows up before school's vision is coming from a radio tower / microwave relay by the lake. It emits a strong microwave signal that controls people's minds. This is explained via a document called Old Traveler, found at the lake from one of the scientists. That's why everyone has gone mad, except for Ethan for some reason, the guy who protects you. Below is a picture of the full document explaining it. Okay. Cool. I guess we could read through this super quick. At halfway point between the towers and the subjects, the signal remains strong. Safe to I don't feel like reading it. You can feel free to pause this video if you want to read it yourself, or you can go to the website. I will link it below. Again, I don't like reading. Okay, so the next paragraph. The brainwashing experiment is part of Murkoff Corporation's secret program. Again, in a way that's kind of neat. I like how they did that because they seemed to have related this to Outlast 1. They are the same company from the first game that reopened Mount Massive Asylum under false flag to experiment on humans, which is sick and sad. Don't do that. In the above document, you can see the scientist referencing a bet he had with Jenny Rowland. He means Jennifer Rowland, who is known from Outlast 1 to be Murkoff corpse pathologist. This proves the connection to Murkoff and the MK Ultra mind control program. Okay, so I want to talk about this real quick because going through the game, nothing strikes me as this is mind control. Nothing strikes me as this is brainwashing. Nothing. I didn't think about that at all. Like, nothing led me to think this. Nothing gave me the hint that this was happening. I kind of find those things, like, not related at all. To me, this was just again, it said it took place in rural Arizona, so I thought this was just like a back-ass woods, freaking crazy, over-the-top, extreme Catholics and heretics. Like, I didn't think this was brainwashing. I just thought this was a fucking town that all these crazy-ass people lived in. And then, side to that, another stream that I was watching about it, someone had mentioned that they did the reading in the notes, and they said, like, in the one part, light, chill. The light's already fucked up enough. Lighting, coloring. When another part of the game, when you see, like, all these people with, like, holes in them, and it's weird, and they're saying, oh, he'll save us, whatever. So apparently those people, now I can't even remember the details, those people were affected by something, like a sickness or something like that, blah, 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 blah. Somebody said that they were brainwashed or told not to use medicines, to be completely natural, like that, you know, help will come, savior will come, they'll get magically healed, etc., etc. So they've been waiting there this entire time. And by the way, the water is completely contaminated with all sorts of diseases, so you step a toe in that and you have gonorrhea herpesipilade, so But yeah, so all these people were waiting for some miracle magic person to come heal them all because they were told never to use actual medicine. Okay, whatever. Moving on. In the beginning, you, Blake, are still somewhat sane, but as you get closer to the tower and spend more time in the area, you lose your mind more and more, get hallucinations and weird dreams of early childhood because the microwave brainwashing signal gets stronger. Again, like, I didn't take from the story that he was losing his mind, that he was getting less and less sane, that he was getting brainwashed. I didn't get that at all. Because even at the beginning of the game, before they landed in this area, they were in the helicopter, and Blake was saying that he was having dreams of their childhood friend Jessica, so obviously this happened beforehand. Blake blames himself for Jessica's death because he didn't love her, didn't protect her when she needed him. She was fooling around with him, but Blake liked Lynn. He also left her alone with a bad teacher who assaulted her, even though she asked him to stay because he was scared. Well, Jessica knew that he liked Lynn, and she was even asking him questions about it. I didn't really... I'm sure she was, like, internally hurt about it and acting externally fine, which people do. But I don't think it was really his fault that he left her alone with the teacher, because the teacher was trying to get him out. Like, he seemed that he was trying to stay, but the teacher kept trying to push him out. So it's like, well, if he tried to stay, you know, in an alternate version of the story, I'm sure the teacher would have beat the shit out of him too, or something, you know. The demon that haunts you in the school vision is Father Loudermilch. Okay, that's, you know, the person I kept talking. I don't know who the hell to call him. A preacher, a teacher, I don't know what the fuck he is. The teacher who violently assaulted Jessica. This can be seen by the scar above his right eye. The demon has the exact same scar. Who stays near the demon long enough to look at that? It's that shit's chasing you. You run the fuck away. You don't say, do you have a scar in your right eye? Who are you? No. But at that, I mean, I just don't understand, like, why would the demon have all of a sudden become so aggressive towards Blake? He just didn't seem that aggressive towards him, like, when he was alive, you know, whatever, so. The memory of this event haunts Blake to this day. That's why he sees Father Loudermilch as a demon in his visions, because Loudermilch was the bad guy, and ultimately the reason Jessica committed suicide. Okay, so we're going back to Jessica committed suicide again. But in the one vision thing he had, like, when, you know, he did leave and, you know, you heard Jessica screaming, and the next thing you know, like, she runs up, you know, the stairs, and, like, she's already dead on the stairs. Like, again, like, it makes it look like he did something to her, but even though he says not what it seems or whatever, it's still questionable, because, like, why did her neck break? Like, don't know. In the end of the microwave signal has gotten so strong that they all just murdered each other. Brainwashing experiment possibly gone wrong. Well, yeah, you don't fucking brainwash people. It's dumb as fuck. The document speaks of anomalies in the signal strength and mentions that the signal is particularly strong at certain spots. There's also a mention of the feedback loop, which causes affected people to do crazy things. And kind of confusing. I mean, if you're brainwashing somebody, you're gonna do crazy shit anyway. I'm just very questionable. I just can't. I didn't get brainwashing. Like, I didn't see it anything. I don't know. And at that, how can you brainwash? I mean, like, a light can't brainwash someone. Like, radio signals. I mean, I don't know any about that. So I'm not, you know, a scientist. I don't wear the frickin' tinfoil thing on my head. I mean, to me, brainwashing is you'd have to be around a person who's trying to brainwash you, and they put something in your head time and time and time and time and time again. A light can't magically brainwash you. Like, I can see, you know, a cult, and, like, them bringing new people into a cult. Like, the other people, they were telling them, don't use medicines, whatever, someone will come magically heal you. That's kind of brainwashing, but everything else, I don't really see how the masses can get brainwashed just like that. Ending explained. Blake finally loses his mind. The traumatic experiences and microwave brainwashing signals have broken him. He submits to the signal. Okay, so, like, what do you... Okay, he submits to the signal, but, like, what? Like, what are they trying to get people to do? That's the thing. Like, when you're brainwashing, you're trying to get them to do something or believe something. Like, I don't really think he ever submitted to... I don't... It's very confusing. It remains unknown what happened to the baby, or if it was just an illusion to begin with. Maybe it's just what Blake wanted to see. I don't know why he would want to see that. He never at all throughout any of the story mentioned anything about a baby or wanting to have one. Before Lynn dies, she said there's nothing there. Now, when I played, I heard her say that. I had no fucking clue what the fuck she meant at all. Which suggests there was never a child. I guess, if you want to look at it that way, she had been in the mines 800 feet below ground for most of the game, where the brainwashing signal might not be as strong. Blake and Knopf, however, were above ground most of the time and do see the child, which could be a hallucination from long exposure to the microwave signal. Okay. But this goes back to, and somebody else has said this too, or unless it says down here, the heretics were most of the time 800 feet underground. And they all thought she was pregnant as well. And earlier in the game, when Blake, you know, catches up to Lynn before the heretics take her, he also kind of tries to, like, ask her what's going on, or are you something? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. So obviously, she kind of knew something was going on too. Like, did she know she was pregnant? Like, it's too confusing. Unsolved mysteries and theories. Was Lynn ever pregnant or not? When you arrive, it doesn't show. Exactly. There's a recording immediately after reuniting with her in the end, in which Blake says it's so cold and snowing outside. But see, I don't remember, not the recording, but as you're running near the end with her to get shelter, to go lay down somewhere, like, she says it's cold. Now, I didn't really... I heard her say that, and I thought to myself, well, maybe she just feels cold, maybe it's really fucking windy or something. She's about to have a fucking baby, so God knows what hormones are doing to her body. In fact, what you see is the world going up in flames, hot snow, blah, 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 blah. So maybe he imagined she's pregnant, or the microwave. But then I just don't understand, because she was with him, unless he imagined she was with him, but she was with him, and if he was acting that she was pregnant, but, like, she really wasn't pregnant, then wouldn't she have done some motions or said something? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, again, like, unless this entire thing was a hallucination, who the fuck knows? This is very fucking strange. He may remember like I said, she was, but then half the game wouldn't make any sense because everyone was after the child. But see, then that can go back to, well, everyone was under the microwave signal, so... The snow could also be a reference to the snow outside from the school dream. Another theory is that the game does not take place over the course of a night, like it seems, but actually Blake blacked out for weeks or months during the school visions, and Lynn may have been 2 to 3 months pregnant when they arrived, and she didn't tell him. But how could he possibly miss this when they always travel for journalistic work together and live together? Yes, he mentions on the river they haven't done it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And again, going back to this, like, how could he didn't eat? You know, I mean... You know, how could you stay alive for that amount of time and not eat? One thing that's clear is Blake is getting more delusional as time goes by. I wouldn't really say he was delusional, though. I thought he was just having flashbacks. This is evident by listening to the recording collectibles, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we have to wait for a DLC to get the missing pieces. I kind of hope so. Because I guarantee you, hundreds, if not thousands of people who have played this game are very fucking confused and would like answers. And I feel like this would help a fucking shit ton. Very, very much closure to this game and help with the freaking angering confusion. Why was Ethan, guy who takes you in, not affected by the microwave? What does he mean when he says a signal? Or... When he says he's been unborn, good question. Why is there a document saying Val is a man when she's a female in the game? I would like to know that too, because when I first saw her, I thought she was a he, or just nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, this is what it seemed. I thought maybe she was gay, he was gay, but don't know. Why did everyone think that Blake's child is the Antichrist? Exactly. How did Lim escape inherit his mom by herself when we find her she could barely walk without rape before? That's true. Blah, blah, blah. She only suggestions for pregnancy style. I'm sorry. Again, please feel free to pause this and read it if you would like. These are still only theories. They're not answers. Like, you'd have to have the devs tell you directly, this is what this is, but up here, up on the top of the page, it says, oh, that's for the player to connect the dots and figure out themselves. But, like, again, this person played it 10 times through, and he still doesn't know. Because it's not everything makes sense. It's not all tied together. It really doesn't make sense. But then why are the heretics so crazy? Exactly. Maybe this, I didn't pay attention to it, but let's play a clip! See, that's not something I noticed in the game. I mean, unless you were reading it, or really, really good at paying attention to detail, you wouldn't think of that. Furthermore, phantom pregnancies are mentioned in a document from Outlast 1, whistleblower titled Miscarried Prophets. The document says that the female can suffer from psychosomatic pregnancies, because of how the morphogenetic engine affects their immune systems. The morphogenetic engine was used in the first game to control Wall Rider, which is freaking awesome and scary. An experimental swarm of nanities. What the fuck is a nanity? When reuniting with Lynn after the helicopter crash, she refuses to say what the Christians did to her. They're Catholics, not Christian. They're definitely Catholics. No, definitely Catholic. That was definitely Catholic. But still, she refuses to say. So obviously that sounds like they R-worded her. They wrapped her. They wrapped her in lots of bubble wrap. I don't know. It's possible they exposed her to a morphogenic engine, and that's why she's going through the full process of a phantom pregnancy over the course of a night. That would kind of make a little bit more sense than other things. So obviously she understands why everybody else thinks she's pregnant and she feels pregnant, but when she gives birth, there's nothing there. But that still wouldn't make sense, because then why would, if there really wasn't anything there, then wouldn't you actually have not seen anything come out if it's a phantom? Because then Blake wouldn't have seen it either. So obviously she was kind of aware that everyone thought she was pregnant, and she was pregnant. She felt pregnant. I mean, you can tell. Like, she... At the end, when he was with her, like, she knew she was gonna have a baby. So again, this doesn't fucking make sense. But why would the morphogenic exposure give her a fucking phantom pregnant? I mean, I don't know. But again, that's kind of cool that they tied it in with the DLC for Outlast 1. All the video recordings taken during visions are corrupted. What? They have no picture but play a sound. Oh. Never noticed that. See? Interesting thing. If you revert the sound via video editing software, they actually start to make some sense. What? What? What are they saying? If you revert the sound via video editing software, are they saying you take clips of the game and fucking put it in Adobe Premiere Pro? Is that what they're saying here? What? The visions happen, a flashlight comes. Again, this is so much to read, and this is a very, very fun, very confusing as fuck game. I would love to have an answer to all the what the fuck is going on. I don't have anxiety. I am not an anxious person. I love getting scared. Outlast 1, I mean, it was, I had to have help, like, completing it, because I am not the best at puzzles, and especially when you're fucking freaked the fuck out, it's definitely hard to think. I'm really proud of myself because I did most of this game by myself. I looked up a couple of hints here and there where I was really stuck, and I mean, like, I was fucking stuck there for an hour, and I was getting pissed the fuck off. But this game made me feel so anxious. Like, it was hard. It was difficult to finish some parts. Like, I just was like sitting so back from my everything, and it was hard in some parts. It was like, okay, like, this is really an anxious feeling. Like, so it's crazy, and it was good. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, because I felt like it didn't have as many jump scares as the first one, and I like jump scares. I like getting scared, but as you go throughout the game, it kind of starts off easy, and then it gets about pretty difficult in the middle, and then near the end it gets a little easier again. So throughout the middle of that game, I was having a hard time. But I liked it. I would play another one if they ever come out with another one. I do like horror games. They're very fun. So I still enjoyed this game. But it's an even more confusing ending than the first. I mean, it's not even, the first one wasn't even confusing. Everything was kind of answered within itself. Like, there wasn't really any questions left. This one, so many questions. So many questions, and I'm sure we'd all love to have them answered. So, that's that. I just wanted to... No, my vegetables. I want to make a video about this, because I know I'm not the first nor only person to wonder about this, so I figured, you know, why not make a video about it? So, thank you for watching. Hopefully we can all figure this out soon. Hopefully the DLC comes out soonish, and hopefully it has answers. So, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. What you have come to, you know, if you like reading the notes in the middle of a horror game when you're fucking freaked the fuck out, unless, you know, you're a big old tough guy. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about the game, what conclusions you came to, what theories, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Yeah! So today, we are going to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Woo! Yeah, buddy! That's what I'm talking about! Crawl up. Crawl up! You can fucking